Okay, so you're welcome, and this is Darko Labs. Please don't forget to follow me on TikTok, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, share for more people to join us. This is an AI bootcamp specifically made for anyone who is interested in what? AI. AI, data analysis, data analyst, data scientist, data science, machine learning, AI, everything. You're welcome to Darko Labs. And here we learn, we code, and we automate. So today, our session is more practical and more engaging. We are looking at functions in Python. And as usual, I'll try to create a folder. I'll get my folder, and then based on that, I'll be able to create my notebooks. Okay. All right. Okay. So now we have our Visual Studio Code open for us. Okay. So all that I will do is I will need to create a notebook. Okay. So let's say our notebook is functions.ipynb. Okay. So let me position myself well so that I end up typing correctly. So functions.ipyn. So this is our notebook we are going to work in. And then once we create the notebook, all we need to do is come to the select kernel, Python kernel, and then we pick this one as our kernel. Okay. So we already have the virtual environments created as we always do. Alright. If you have any issue with the virtual environment, please, I have so many videos in my description and also in my previous videos I've posted on YouTube. You can watch it over there and it should be good. So now we have our functions. So let's test our environment. If our environment is working, a is equal to 10 as usual, and then print a. Okay, so now our environment is working, so we can start coding. Alright, so basically today what we are going to do is we are going to look at functions. Okay, we are going to look at functions. So we are going to look at functions in Python. All right, and with functions in Python, as I always do, we are looking at so many concepts. All right, we are going to look at so many concepts in function. What does IPYN stand for? Oh, Clayton, today is not your first time, so high discussion. But that's good. That's fine. So IPYNB is just an extension for notebook. Okay, and you know here we are integrating Jupyter Notebook in our Visual Studio Code. And for us to use Jupyter Notebook in our Visual Studio Code, we need that extension which already Visual Studio Code already has it integrated. And all that we need to do is to call that extension, and based on that, any file we create with that particular extension, then automatically we get it in a form of what? A notebook. Okay, so that is why it's important we should add .ipynb. Going forward, we'll be seeing one which is just dot. So let's say Clayton, okay, Clayton.py. So this will be different. You see, this will be .py means it's a Python script, and .ipynb is what? A notebook. It's as simple as that. Okay. All right. So let me delete your name now. Okay, good. So guys, now functions in Python. Basically, a function is a block. Okay. Let me try to define it here for you guys. Let me try to define. So function is a block. Okay, so function is a block of code. Okay, remember this is the beginner, this is basic, so we are not rushing. We are taking our time to learn everything, guys. I'm not rushing. If I want to rush, I would have started teaching you guys machine learning, but we are not rushing. Remember, we want to master function. I want to master Python before we move to machine learning and anything AI. Okay, so function is a block of code. Okay, that performs what? That performs a specific what? Task. Okay, so basically it's a block of code that performs a specific task, and it helps organize code. Okay, reusing code. Okay, and what? Improve code readability. Okay, so code readability. All right, so what we are saying is function is a block of code that performs a specific task. That is why I'm saying that all the concepts so far we've learned in Python, we are going to use it in functions. Okay, so all you need is understand the various concepts. That is why I always take my time to make sure that you guys understand everything before we move to the next. All right, and now we are looking at functions in Python. And with functions in Python, we are saying that function is a block of code that performs what? A specific task. So once you assign your functions, oh, sorry guys, I think I have a little internet issue. Let me block calls. Just a second. I hope you guys can hear me. I need to plug my. I forgot to plug. All right. So sorry for the interruption. Okay, I need to make sure my connections are plugged so we don't have any issue because I just got a notification. All right. So basically, what we are saying is that function is a block of code that performs a specific task, and when you do that, it helps you organize the code, reusing the code, and also improves the readability because we call something docstring. So any developer who picks your or your code understands what that particular function is doing, and we look at all that. Okay. All right. And now we will handling so many things. We will be able to understand how we can define a function. Okay. So we call something function definition. All right. So we call something function definition. We call calling functions. Okay. Call something calling functions. And then we call something function parameters. Function parameters. Okay. And then we look at another one which is let's look at default parameters. Okay, default parameters, and then we're looking at let's look at variable length. Okay, so the variable length arguments. Okay, you understand a lot today, and then we will look at the last one, which we will return our what function, which is return statement. All right, so this is what we are going to look at today. Okay, this is what we are going to look at today. So we are going to look at functions in Python. Okay, and functions in Python, we are saying that function is a block of code that helps you to perform some specific task, and based on the task we have function definitions, how you can define your function, how you can call your function, how you can set some parameters in your function, how you can have some specific default parameters, and also we call something variable length arguments. We look at all that. And then also the final one will be how we can return our statements in function. Okay? Alright. So Maria said, what's the difference between function and a method? So methods are basically inbuilt, okay? They are inbuilt, and at the same time we can also have a function, inbuilt functions in Python. But the whole point is methods are basically used when it comes to classes, okay? And then functions are mostly used by you, the person. You can define your own function, or you can have inbuilt one by any programming languages like Python. Okay, so it's just basically, some people even use it interchangeably. Some people always say, oh, for instance, if I do something like this, if I say numbers dot set, okay, this is a set, this is an inbuilt method, but someone will also call it function. You understand? So sometimes they use it interchangeably, but it's always fine. The key goal is what is supporting what you are trying to do, and you have the knowledge in it. Okay, all right. All right. So now let's look at how we can structure functions. Okay. So we call something syntax. Syntax. Okay. Syntax in function, which is very key. You need to understand syntax in function before you can do anything else, guys. This is very important. That is why I always take my time to teach you guys. Everything I do, you can see I try to let you understand the flow. And the very important thing you need to understand is functions, is syntax. All right. So if you just join us, this is an AI bootcamp, and now we are mastering Python, and we started. This is our day 7. And if you just join us, you are not lost. All you can do is go to my YouTube. We have the videos there. This is our Discord platform, and you can see everything is well structured on the Discord platform for you. Once you land on the Discord, you have everything at your disposal to ask. If there is any help, the Python help is there. If there is any help on VS Code, it is there. And also, if you go to YouTube, we have uploaded all the training sessions there, which you can consume and then catch up with us. Okay? We have all, I don't do any editing. All that I teach here, we quickly upload it there. You can see yesterday's training session. I think yesterday's training session is still being uploaded. You could see we have 70 minutes for it to be uploaded. So please, if you just join us, this is an AI bootcamp and we are not rushing. We are taking our time to learn. All right. So now let's look at the syntax in functions. And it's very simple. For you to set the syntax, this is how the syntax is, okay? I will explain. So we say def, which function definition. So we define our function with the function underscore the name, okay? With the function name. Inside, we have our parameters, okay? Inside, we have our parameters, and then as usual, we bring our colon, all right? Then here, we bring what we call what? Docstring, okay? Don't forget, it's very important. You see, when the moment I do something like this, okay, and I say docstring, I should get the docstring, right? So here, inside this, we bring the first double quotation mark, okay? The double quotation mark is supposed to be 3 on your left, 3 on your right. So you see the first one is this. I'm getting some notification, hold on. Okay. So the first one for our docstring, once I press enter like this, I'm going to get the first double quotation like this, another one, space, another one, another one, another one, okay? So now I have 3 on my left, 3 on my right. So I can delete this one. So now inside this, okay, there's one, more than one, okay. Inside this, then I will have my what? My docstring, which is called something like this, okay? So here, the docstring is basically to tell any developer, okay, any developer the use of that particular function or what that particular function is all about. That's it. It doesn't do anything. It just helps in terms of readability. Remember, I mentioned it here. Improve code readability. So if you want to improve your code readability, you need to set your docstring so that any developer can understand what that particular function is doing. All right, and I hope this is clear. And now inside the body, okay, here you can just say, let me make a comment. So you can just say function body, okay? So this is where all your logic, all your programming, all your code, all your calculations, all your computations, everything comes in here, all right? And then the last one will be you will return it. You return, what do you return? The expression. So the expression, which will be what you want to express as the parameter and order, okay? So this is the syntax, okay? This is the syntax in Python, and it's very simple. We call something the definition, which is the function definition. So you need to define your function, and in defining the function, your function can be any name, okay? You don't have spaces, please. You don't bring spaces. If you want to bring space, you need to use underscore. You can see I'm using underscore here, all right? And then inside your function, you pass your parameters, okay? If you want your code, your function to be more readability for any developer, then you bring the docstring, and then you can write your code or your calculations or anything here. Then once you are done, you return the function. All right. So this is very clear. Now let's look at a simple example like y function. So y function. Okay, y function. So the reason for function is that, as I said earlier on, it helps what? Improve what? Organize code, reusing code, and also readability. But the key one is what? Organizing your code and improving what? Code reusability. Okay? And it's very important that docstring will be replaced with our comments enclosed in the triple quotes. Yes, 100%. So that's your comment, and your comment should be aligned with the function, what actually the function is doing. Okay, pleasant. All right. So that here will be your comment. So you can say this function is to help students understand the structure of defining a function. You see, so me, because I'm teaching you guys, I've just set my docstring to what? This function is to help students understand the structure of defining a function. As simple as that. So if you are also doing calculations, you put it there. So we'll do one here, okay? Don't worry. So let's say, for instance, why function? And I'm saying that function is to help you improve usability, reusability, and also what? For code and all that. So what we can do here is, let's say why function. Let's say we have let me set an example. Let's say number is equal to 24, okay? And then we say that if the number yeah, let's get even numbers. If the number modulo 2 is equal to 0, okay? You know, if you know modulus, so modulus are basically when the number modulo 2 is equal to 0, it means when there is no what? Remainder, then that particular number is even number. If there is a remainder, then it's what? An odd number, as simple as that. So if number modulo 2, sorry, if number modulo 2 is equal to 0, what do? We print what? The number is even, okay? Else we do what? We print the number is odd, right? So, okay, I didn't bring mine. All right. So now we see that this is just an example. You see, why function? You see, previously we have been doing all this, isn't it? Without function. So this is not a function. This is just a normal programming using if else, right? We are looking at why is it important for us to use function, all right? And you see, previously without function, we would have been doing this. We will say number is equal to 24. If number modulo 2 is equal to 0, then print the number is what? Sorry, my indentation is wrong. Okay, my indentation is wrong. All right. So we will say that print the num is even, else print the num is odd. And this is correct, but why function? We want to make sure that, so if I run this like this, we say the number is even. But we don't want it this way. We want to write more efficient codes, and also we want to create functions where we can reuse it at any point in time in our program. Okay, we don't have to be redefining and writing all this entire code again in anywhere in our program. That is not good, right? So we need function to be calling them at any point in time, and all that we can do is come here and then we say that we define the function. So def, you see, so first let's look at the expression. So we said that def, then the function name. So what will be our function name? So let's say the function is going to be even underscore or underscore odd. Okay, and then inside this function we pass what? Our parameters, and our parameter here is basically the variable, and our variable name is num. So we just pass it here and we say num. Okay, you see, and then we can bring our colon like this. Now we've defined the function. You see, we've defined the function here. Now what do? When we come down like this, we need to make sure that we have a docstring, and it's very simple. As I said, the first like this, another like this. We have 3 now. So you see that inside the docstring, I will say that this function finds, let's say this function finds even or odd numbers. Okay, so basically what we are doing here is We are defining a function called even or odd, and then our parameter, we are passing the variable name, which is number. Okay, now this is not required. The docstring is not required. Okay, guys, you can choose not to bring it, but what it makes it good is on a professional level and industry standard, it's a good practice. Okay, take note, it is a good practice you bring your docstring so that anyone who sees your function understands what that particular function is doing. So any developer who picks your function will understand what that particular function is doing, and then that developer can also maybe work on that particular function or any other stuff or whatever that developer wants to use that particular function. Okay, so it's a good practice you bring your docstring. All right, and now our next thing will be what? Let's go to our expression. I just want you so that you guys understand the guidance. Now our next thing is we call it what? The function body. So now instead of me all this if else condition here is going to be my body here. Okay, so I will just say if num modulo 2 is equal to 0. Okay, if the num modulo 2 is equal to 0, what do I do? Then I just print what? Num is even. Okay, so the number is what? Even. Else, what will I do? Else, I will print what? Sorry, else print what? Num is odd. You see? So we are saying that the docstring is this, and this is our function body. If the number modulo 2 is equal to 0, then print the number. The number is what? So I can say the number is even, or print the number is odd. So the number is even or the number is odd. Okay, and now when I run this, my function will understand that okay, I have a function this. If I run this, I will not get anything unless I call the function. But let's first run this. So you see, when I run this, I don't get anything. All I will get is I have a function stored in my computer memory for me. Okay, I have a function stored. Sorry, I'm having a stable computer. So I have a function stored in my what? Memory for me, right? So now all that I need to do is come down and call it. I can call it here, or I can have a new code. So I can just say, what's the function name? Even or odd. You know, all that we are going to do is we are going to call this function, this entire function here. Okay, we just put it here like this, or you can put it below like this, here like this. Okay, and when we do that, we call the function, right? So now we run this, and now inside this number we can put any value there. So that value could be, let's say 24, because previously we used 24. So let's see the first 24. So now I put this number here, and when I run, you see the number is even. Let's put 53. Okay, let's put 53. The number is odd. You see the function is working. Okay, yes, in the comment section, what number should I put in our function again? What number should I put in the comment section? What number should I put? 45. Okay, so 45, then we run. So the number is odd. It means there was a reminder when the number 45 modulo 2 is not equal to 0, isn't it? It means there will be a reminder, and if there is a reminder, then it's an odd number. It's as simple as that. If there is no remainder, then it becomes even. So someone said let's put 76. Okay, 76. Now the number is even. Let's put 31. It will be odd. So the number is odd, right? So you get a concept. So this is how functions are created, guys, and it's very important. And now let's look at how we can have some multiple functions with multiple parameters. Okay, let's look at function with multiple parameters. You know, previously we are having just one parameter, num, isn't it? Let's look at how we can have multiple parameters, then we can call the function with those multiple parameters. Okay, all right. So now let's define a function. Let's say function add. Okay, we are having a function that adds a comma b. All right, so this function adds two numbers, a and b, and then gives us the result, isn't it? Now we can say that we can say c is equal to a plus b. Okay, and then we just print. When we run this function will work, but this is not a proper programming. Okay, remember I'm teaching you guys proper programming. What if we want the function to also try prime numbers? Yeah, that would be different examples. So when we are done, we will look at so many practical examples. Okay, so no rushing. All right, so define add a comma b. Okay, so let's say we want to have a function with multiple parameters, which we have it here. So this is the parameters we are having here, a and b. So previously we were dealing with single parameter, which is one parameter we were passing in as our argument. Now we are using multiple parameters, and I'm saying that if you say c is equal to a plus b, it's okay, the function is okay, but this is not proper programming. So all we can do is, instead of you getting the c comma b before you come and say return blah blah blah, we don't want just to do that. So we can just say return, okay, return what? A plus b. So automatically your function knows that, okay, you are adding a, b, and then you are returning the result. That's it. So when we come here, we can just print, we can say result, okay, we can say result is equal to add. Then now we can pass any value. So what value should we pass? Let's say we are passing 4, 5. Okay, so when we pass 4, 5, then we can what? Print the result. So you see how I just did it? So I'm saying that I want to have a function with multiple parameters. So this is the definition. I define a function that adds two numbers, and these two numbers, they are the parameters. So I just return, instead of me saying c is equal to a plus b, no, I just return the result from the parameters. Any number I pass for my parameters, I will get the return as addition, and then the result, that addition will be stored in this result, and I will just display my result. As simple as that, right? So the add function here, I'm just calling, previously we just call like this, right? But now I'm storing the calling inside another variable name called result, so that I can see. So when I run this, I should see 9. So 4 plus 5 is 9. Yes, so let's do another example. So what should I add? Okay, in the comment section, what should I add? In the comment section, what should I add? What number should I add in the comment? In the comment section, what should I? 10 plus 77. So 10, 77. All right. So when I run this, so we have what? 87. So you see, the function is working properly for us, right? Let's look at something we call default parameters. Okay, it's very important you understand default parameters. Please, when I'm done, if you have any question, don't hesitate, come up and ask. Okay, this is a learning platform, and we are not rushing into anything. All right, so let's look at default parameters in Python in functions. Okay, so first let's define. So always you define your functions. Okay, let's say we want to greet. So let's say this. So let's say I want to greet you guys here. So I define greet, and in my function name I will say name. Okay, now this is my function. Now I just want to print. I just want to print this. Okay, and this I just want to say, okay, inside my print, let me bring this, and then I will just say hello, and then I'll bring my curly. Inside it, I'll pass my function parameter, which is the name, right? And then outside is, I'll just say welcome to Darko Labs AI Bootcamp. Okay, so this is what I will say. Default parameters, def, greet, name, print, hello, blah blah blah, welcome to Darko Labs AI Bootcamp. Okay, so now all that I need to do is I will just come here and now I'll call the function. So let me call this function. So I'm going to put any name there. So I'll put you guys your name there. So I'll come here. Now we know this, right? So I'll come here. Inside this name, I will place it with any name. So what should I be? Let me pick one of you guys, your name. Okay, let me pick Melania Clazen. Yeah, Melania Clazen. Okay, so I just picked Melania Clazen, right? And now because Melania Clazen is a string, so what do I need to do? I just need to make it a string. So I just put in a string. You see the concept? Melania Clazen is a name and it's a string. So I just put Melania Clazen in a string. So when I run this, it will just print, "Hello, Melania Clazen. Welcome to Darko Labs AI Bootcamp." And it's as simple as that. "Hello, Melania Clazen. Welcome to Darko Labs AI Bootcamp." You guys see the concept here? But now we are saying that we have something called default parameters, which that default parameters, I can just, let me copy this code, okay? I can just do it this way. Instead of me name, let's say name, then I'll say it's assigned to, let's say guest, any guest that comes on our live, okay? And now, instead of me, I can just pass it here. Now, default parameters means that if I run, okay, if I run without passing anything here, it should pick the default one, else it will give you error. So that is the default parameters, okay? So if I run something like this, I'll still get many grades. But let's say I didn't add anything here, okay? Or let's say, okay, so let's say we didn't pass anything here, okay? What are we seeing? The function will still run. "Hello, welcome to Darko Labs AI Bootcamp." So it's telling you that if we set the default parameters, we can still run our function without any error. You see? But the moment you don't set a default function and you try to run, you get error. So let's see. So I didn't set any default function. Okay. And now I try to run this. You see, I get error. Type error. Greeting. Missing one required what? Positional argument. Meaning it needs a positional argument here. Okay, I cannot just call the function without passing a positional argument, which we will look at positional arguments below. So what you need to do is we need to make sure that either we are passing a default argument here, okay, then when we run this empty, we will get the default. You see, "Hello guest, welcome to Darko Labs AI Bootcamp." Guys, you see the concept? So it's very important when you are creating your functions or defining your functions, if you are not accepting any argument now, all you need to do is set the default parameters, and then at any point you can then assign it later, and your code or your program will run successfully. Okay, all right. Now let's look at another one, which is how do I call this one? Let me check my structure. Okay, so let's look at another one, which is called variable length argument. So you guys understand, okay? Variable length argument. Okay, so with variable length argument, let's first look at what I was saying: positional what and positional and keywords argument. So let's look at positional and keywords argument. Okay, so first let's look at the position. So now if I say this, if I define a function, say print underscore numbers, okay, if I define a function, say print underscore numbers, and now let's say I pass one argument, say Dennis, okay, let's say I pass an argument, says Dennis. Now for me to have this positional argument defined properly, I need to bring what we call star like this. Okay, if I do something like this is correct, but this is not a correct practice when it comes to you coding. Okay, I will teach you the correct practice below, so no rush. I just want you guys to understand that the positional argument can be anything after the star. The star means that this is a positional argument. Okay, so the star here just simply means that we are trying to pass a parameter, and that parameter is a positional argument. So automatically our computer or our program would understand that this function has positional what arguments. Now for us to be able to have a proper and good practice coding, it's not always good for you to do it this way, which I'll teach you the better practice below. Okay, but this is for demonstration purpose. Now if I say the function print numbers, definition is positional argument, and now if I come below and I say for number, okay, for number in Dennis, okay, for number in Dennis, what do I do? Print number. Okay, so now all that this is going to do is we are saying that there's a function called print numbers, and now numbers I'm passing a parameter called positional arguments, and within that positional arguments I'm going to iterate over that numbers. So if for that number, this is a temporary variable, we all know this is a temporary variable, I want to get the value from this positional argument Dennis and then store in this particular temporary variable. Okay, now all that I'm doing is I'm saying that let's print the numbers. Now, if I call my function, this function, okay, if I call this function, okay, if I call this function here, and then I put any number, so let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay, this will take so many. So this function allows you to, the reason for this star and blah 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 variable, it means that it's a positional argument where it can take so many variables or so many parameters. It's okay by itself. Okay, what's positional argument? Is it similar to name is equal to Dennis as a fixed parameter? No, so it's basically positional arguments allows us to what, to call our function with so many parameters. Okay, because sometimes that's why we call it variable length argument. Sometimes you have so many variables that you want to pass inside this particular function, and you don't want to be putting them all of them here. So sometimes we just need that positional argument, which the star means all, and then we bring what, the star means all, and then we bring the variable name, just one variable name, to define all positions or all the parameters. Okay, all right. So here we are saying that we want to call this function, right? And I'm passing, you can see I'm passing so many variables. So that's the variable length. I can pass so many things. I can even add, let's say Dennis, like this. Okay, I can even add anything. It can be anything. It can be Darko. Okay, it can be Darko, like this. So once I pass this and I run this will run into this. So let's see. So you see, I'm getting error here. So I'm getting error here because of why the error, prime numbers. Okay, 1, 2, so print number in Dennis, print number. Okay, everything is aligned. So I'm trying to check. So why is the error? Name print numbers is not defined. Print numbers. Okay. Oh, I didn't run this. Okay, guys, we didn't run our function. So you see, so now we are good to go. So you see, all right. So print numbers. You see, I've been able to print all this. But let's say, for instance, this is not proper coding. Okay, this is not proper coding. The best coding for positional arguments is what? So let's come below here. Okay, so the best coding for positional. Oh, what am I typing? So the best coding for positional argument, okay, is like this. All that I need to do is that I will say define print the same function, okay, print numbers inside, and then I will say this star, and we always use this args. The args is the best industry practice. Take note of this, guys. So Dennis is the variable name for your positional argument. Yes. So now that is not a better practice. Okay. Now the best practice is don't use this. Okay. This is not a better practice. It shows that yes, you understand the concept that you need some variables to be passed as your parameters. Okay. which is variable length arguments. Now, for you to replace all those variables, what you need to do is we use what we call args arguments. So it means that inside this function, I am passing any arguments, any variable length. So the program or the computer will understand that, okay, you are trying to pass so many what positional arguments or so many parameters or so many variables inside this particular function. All right, so that is how it is. So the proper and the best industry practice to use positional argument is this: definition, print numbers inside your parameters, inside your arguments, sorry, then you bring your parameters star, which means all arguments, so all args. Okay, so now if I come here and I bring my for loop for number, okay, in what args, you see. So for number in args, what do? I just print the number. Oh, where am I typing? I just print the number. Okay, so I'm saying that definition print numbers. So anything I pass here, it will look through the arguments and then what, print the number for me. So when I come here, okay, and I just call them. So let's say, let's call again. Let's call this again. Let's call it again here. Okay, I can just say it like this. So print all this. So when we run, you see, we will get the entire 1, 2, 3, blah, 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 that. So you see, so this is the proper argument. This is for explanation purpose. That's why I use this. Okay, but for industry best practice, please always use args for your positional argument, so that your function, when you are calling the function, it can accept so many what parameters or variables. Okay, all right, now let's look at keyword argument, so you understand it too. Then when we are done with keyword argument, we will combine both positional and keyword arguments. Okay, and that will be interesting. So let's look at keyword argument. Keyword arguments. Okay, now with keyword arguments, it's the same thing, right? So what we are going to do is we are saying that definition, let's print some details. So let's say print underscore details. Okay, inside these details, now with keyword arguments, we deal with key value pairs. Remember dictionary. Okay, remember the dictionary. Wow, I didn't know you could pass different data types in that loop. Yes, you could pass it. You could pass different data types in the loop here. Okay, and that is all arguments. It means that it accepts any variable or any data type which you can pass in your function here, which when you call your function, you get it with the help of all arguments. You can get any data type here. I can even add here comma 3.45. So this is a boolean, different data type. When I run, I should get a boolean. Okay, all right. Okay, so now we are saying that keyword argument is what? We are dealing with keyword. So basically it goes with what? Key value pairs. Key value pairs. Remember dictionary, guys. Remember dictionary. Okay, don't forget dictionary. Okay, so here keyword argument is basically what? Key value pairs. Okay, and in our key value pairs, the same concept here for our positional arguments, we just change it to what? True double, because now we are going to deal with what? Keyword argument. So it's going to be two. It's going to be what? Key value pair. So 2 stars, star star. Okay, and then we bring our KW, keyword. Okay, keyword, and then we bring our args. Okay, so you see that this is what definition. We want to print some details, and the details we want the key value pairs for those details. So you could see that I could use this one to collect students' data, okay, or I could use it to collect any particular person's data. Okay, so when I come in, I say define my function print underscore details, and then I'm saying that the double star, which is for key value pairs, and all of them, I want anyone that the person passed in my function, and then key value what? Keyword arguments. So they are keyword arguments. Now when I define my function like this, okay, all that I need to do is let's create our for loop. So we will say for key comma what value. Okay, this is a temporary variable, so don't worry, it can be any name, but always try to make sure that the temporary variable goes according to what you are doing, which when we look at the practical examples, you see how all these things done. So key, for key comma value in what, in this, in kwargs. Okay, dot, what are we looking for? We are looking for all the items that will be in this particular argument, in this particular function. We are looking for all the items that will be here. So we will say dot what, items, which is an inbuilt function in what, in Python. This is it. You see, so I'm saying that we are going to have a function called keyword arguments, and the function name is print underscore details, and the function is going to accept any keyword argument. So it could be any keyword values, like let's say name is Dennis, age is 35, gender is male, and all that. You get the concept? Yes. So we put it here, we set it here, and we say, okay, our for loop is for key value. So this is just a temporary variable. It can be any name, but looking at what we are doing, that is why I'm using key and I'm using value, so that it goes according to the function or what we are doing here, right? But this is just a temporary variable that we are saying that when you get the data from this function, or when we call the function and we get the data here, bring the data here, get all the data here, and then store it in this temporary variable. So it tells you that the data we are going to get here will be something like this. It will be name, okay, and then also it will be value. For instance, let's say Dennis. So it will be something like this. It will be in a dictionary form, okay. It will be something like this: name colon Dennis, right? And then we can have another one which could be age colon, let's say 23. So this is how the thing is going to be done, right? And that is the keyword arguments, and it's in a dictionary form. Okay, so all that I'll do here is just print it. So I'll print, and as we do, we bring this our square bracket and double quotation mark, and inside it we bring our curly brackets for the key value, and also we bring the colon, okay, and then inside it we bring our curly bracket, and then we bring the value. Okay, this is just for us to have it properly displayed, because we know once we are using keyword arguments, which means any value, when we call the function, anything the person enters in that particular function, we will get the keyword argument. Okay, so now once I run this function, okay, so I run it like this, I can call this function anytime. So I can just print this, I can just copy this here, and I can call this function anytime, and all that I need to do is call the function. So I will remove this one, okay, and I'll say name is equal to, let's say, Dennis, okay, and I'll say comma age is equal to, let's say, sorry, I need to, yeah, age is equal to, let's say, 30, okay, comma, let's say, so 30 will be string. You can make it string or anything, that's fine. So let me put in a string so we don't have to have issue. So 30, comma, what again? Let's say the country is equal to what? What's the country? Let's say Ghana, right? Ghana. So you see, bring details. So when I run this, so you see name, you see it's being represented in a dictionary form. You see the concept, guys? Name Dennis, age 30, country Ghana. So you see it's being represented in a dictionary form for us. You see, with the help of this keyword arguments, we are able to get this, right? Now let's look at how we can combine the keyword argument, this one, and also the positional argument, this one, as one function. Okay, so that is the best practice. So now let's look at the last best practice, which is we want to make sure that we have our function print someone details, which I already have it. So let me just bring it here. Print details. Inside the print details, I am going to first have my positional argument args, comma, then I'll have my keyword argument star kwargs. You see? So it means that this function is going to accept what? Both positional arguments and also what? Both keyword value pairs. So it's going to accept positional arguments and keyword value pairs. So now when I come here, I close it, and then I'll pass my for loop. So any value, so any val in args, okay? For any value in args, what do? We print inside f inside. We print is what? Positional argument, okay? We print this positional argument. Then inside we bring our curly bracket. Then we bring the val. Okay. So you see. So we are saying that our function is accepting both positional arguments and keyword argument. Why are you passing age as string? Oh, you can, yeah, age, you can pass as string or you can make it as, it's the same. You can make it as 30 like this, okay? Still get the result. You see? It doesn't change anything. Age is an integer, so you can make it either string or, because we are passing as a string because our arguments accept it. It's a keyword value, so you can accept anything, okay? All right. So you can either make it, but this is also good. You can make it age is equal to 30, which is fine. Okay. Name is Dennis. Country is this. Yeah. So this is proper. All right. That's a good question. I intentionally did that. I wanted to see if someone will ask, and I just switch it back. Is there any question? What question? What question? Isn't kwargs similar to Dennis, or kwarg is keyword that accepts more arguments? Yeah, they all accept args and also kwargs. They all accept more arguments or more parameters. But the key thing is we use that kwarg and args so we don't have to be defining any variable name. Okay, we don't want to. That's what I showed you the previous one here. We don't want to be doing something like this. The best practice is use args, okay, and then use kwargs so that we will know that, okay, you are trying to set some positional arguments when you use 1*, and when you do this, you are trying to do more of keyword argument. So the computer will understand these two and then be able to what? Give you better results. Okay. All right. Now let's look at how we can combine them: the positional arguments and also the keyword arguments. And now we know keyword arguments and we know positional arguments, right? So when I come below here, so I'm saying that we have a function called print details, arguments, and then kwargs. For value in arguments, print positional arguments is the value. So all that I'm doing is, this is a temporary variable. As I always tell you guys, this is a temporary variable. When you are iterating, you pick the arguments, any value the person, when we call this function, any value within this function the person enters, it goes through this argument, positional argument, and then we store the number or the value here in this temporary variable. So that's why we are using for loop. So it helps us. We could have used if, else, and all that, which will give us so many long program code. So we are just saying for value in arguments, print positional argument. That's it. Okay, so Joseph is asking a question. Okay, Ade said, can the kwargs be passed as name colon Dennis instead of name is equal to Dennis? No, already the moment you do this, the kwarg is telling the computer that this is what in a form of keyword value. So that's why I'm saying that they are in a form. The moment you do ** kwargs, it automatically tells the computer or the program that you are in a key value pair situation. So it already understands that for you. Okay, Ade, it understands that for you, so you don't have to worry. All you need is, you can make this kwarg a different name. That's why I first used Dennis. You can make it like this, which is still accepted, but the best practice is what I said: use kwargs. Okay, this is the best practice. For industry best practice, use kwargs. All right. Okay, so now this is a temporary variable. We are storing our positional arguments in, so we just want to print that. Okay, then now we are combining, right? Then I'll come down again. Okay, alignment, don't forget alignment, guys. And I'll say for, what am I getting? For key comma value, because this is keyword value. So for key comma value in what? In kwargs, args, in kwargs. Okay, in kwargs, what do I do? So for key comma value in kwargs, dot, I want all of them, dot items. Okay, print, what do we print? We print, so here I'm saying that for value and also for key value in kwargs dot items, I'm getting all the items, the key value pairs the person will enter. Okay, what's the F in front of positional argument? It's just for us to be able to display our result properly. Okay, so you can structure it like this. You can just remove everything and then put the var there, and that's it. Okay, you can just remove all of this, you cut it, and you just put var. That's still correct. Okay, it's just for us to display our result properly and well aligned. Okay, all right, that's good. That's a good question. So all that you need to do here is for the keyword arguments, key value. So this is also another temporary variable that will be holding or storing our what? Our key value paired variables that the person will be entering. Okay, when we call our function. Don't forget. All right. So now here, print. What are we printing? We are just printing the key value pair. So I bring my F colon, and then I will say curly bracket key. Okay, outside the curly bracket, I bring my colon, because once you see keyword value, which is kwargs, it means we are going to get dictionary data. Okay, and dictionary we need to bring the colon, because in dictionary we have keys and we have values. And yesterday we learned all this, isn't it? Okay, all right. So key, and then we bring our curly bracket value. Okay. So now you see that we have this, we have that. So once I run this and I call my function, okay, which I can call my function like this, and I'll say, so let me just copy this entire function here, here, okay. Now instead of args, I'll remove that one, okay, and I'll say that let's go and pass, let's say pass 1, 2, 3, 4, let's add another different data type. Let's say let me put one of you your name there. um, um, let's say, let's use Maria. Okay, Maria. All right, and then now if I come here, the key value pairs, you see the key value pairs, I just clear that one as well. You see how I'm doing it? And then here is going to be key value, key and value, which means that I need to have my key, let's say name, and what will be my name, the value of the name, which will be, let's say oh sorry, the value of the name will be, let's say what name should I give here? Let me get guys your name. So let's say Joseph. Okay, so let's say Joseph. I bring my comma, so I can add so many. So I can say age, okay, is equal to, let's say 57, comma. I can say what else? Peter. Okay, we've already passed name. So what else? Let's say country, okay, is equal to, let's say Nigeria. Okay, so it's a string, sorry, it's a string, Nigeria. Okay, so you see, so I can pass all these things as my positional argument and also as my keyword value. So you see how I'm collecting the data with the help of this function and with the help of a function call. I'm calling this function, and I can pass so many things here with the help of positional arguments and also with the help of what? Keyword arguments. So when I run this, I should get all these data here. You see? So positional argument is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Maria. And then these are what? Keyword arguments. So I can just, inside here, I can just say keyword argument. Okay? Like this. Okay? So I can just run this. So you see? So you will be able to know that this is a keyword arguments and this is what? Positional argument. So that is why we set the for loop. So this for loop is for positional arguments, and the second for loop is what? For keyword arguments. You guys get a concept? And it's very simple. It's very simple. Okay? Alright. Now let's look at let's look at, I'm done. I'm looking at one last session. Then you guys can request and come up if you have any question. Then whilst you guys are up here, we will now look at more practical example. Remember, weekends are mostly for workshops. So we'll look at the practical example and then you guys can what? Consume. So the practical examples I'm not going to record, and all the resources will be posted on the Discord. Okay. Remember, we have our Discord channel. This is the Discord channel which you can join. Everything is well structured. We have our YouTube where all the recordings are posted. Okay, guys. All right. Now, so you see, this is how it is. Now let's look at how we can return. Now you see all that we have been doing. We don't return the function. Did you guys notice? We don't return the function. You see, we don't return the function. All that we have been doing, and we are left with this last one, the return. You could see we've done function definition. We know how docstrings are. We know the body function, how what we can put in our body. Now we are left with returning the function, and we are done. And you guys should be strong in Python functions. Okay, and it's very simple. If you don't understand anything, please, once I open for any question, kindly request and ask. Feel free to ask. This is an AI bootcamp. We are not rushing into anything. Okay, all right. So if you also have any question or any question, you can comment on my YouTube. I'll post the video there. You can comment, or you can bring up your question on our Discord platform, and you could see we have Python help there. So once you click on the Python help like this, we have the help. You can put it there. Okay, if there is any help you need, everything is well structured there for you. Now let's look at how we can return the statement. Return statements. Okay, so now all these things that we are doing, we need to return them. So let's look at how we can return this, and it's very simple. Let's say we have a function called def what should I do? Let's say we are multiplying. We've been adding too much. Let's say we want to multiply a comma b. Okay, so this is our simple function where we have a function that multiplies some values that a particular person enters. Okay, so at this set, why do we use kwarg items but did not use val.item? Val.item. No, we are not using val.item because val is a temporary variable that we are still waiting to get all the items in kwargs, and then we store it there. Sorry, we are still waiting for all the items in val, okay, in arguments here before we can come and store it here. So we don't need to use .items. Okay, the positional arguments means that we can accept so many items there. Okay, all right. What is the difference between returning and printing? Yeah, we are here to look at returning. Okay, for printing it's just you printing. Returning deals when we are working with functions. Okay, and printing deals with when we want to see our result. And in Python, I can even not use print. Let's say, for instance, here, I can decide. Let's say I have. Let me give a typical example here for you guys. So I can decide not to use print. I can say a is equal to 10. Okay, and I'll just say a without bringing the inbuilt function called print. I can, and this a will still display my 10 for me. See, you see. So, but I can still use print like this, print into bracket a. Okay, and I'll still get 10. You see. So the print is just for you to display your result, but the return, which we are going to look at, what is the meaning of the return? So let's see. Now, I have a function called multiply AB. Okay, this is my function. It multiplies A and B. That is, when I call this function, any value I entered, and it accepts two positional or two multiple parameters. So it accepts multiple parameters, which is A and B. So now when I come here, okay, and I say, remember I told you the proper way, return. I don't have to say C is equal to A plus B. No, it's at kick. It's not good proper programming. So I'll just say return A times B. Okay, and then when I call my function, I say I'll just call this function here. Okay, and I'll close this and I'll say 2, 3. So now what the return is doing is that first I could have said it is returning the result, So I could have said C is equal to A times B, right? And then now I will need to say return C. You see, I don't want to be writing this kind of code. Okay, guys. So the key thing and the importance of the return is it returns the result the same as the print, but the print is you are just trying to print you are trying to display your result. But here we use the return to print our what? To use in functions to print our result also. Okay, so the return is always used when you have functions in your program. Okay, and now you see the trick here. I said C is equal to A times B. Now I'm returning C, which is I'm returning the result, right? Because I'm dealing with functions. I don't want to use print and all that. No, so I'll use return. So in using return, this, and I'm saying that this is not a proper programming. Okay, when you do something like this is your body function. This is not, sorry, this is the body function. This is not proper programming. For you to do proper programming, don't do it this way. Close this. Okay, close this, and instead of the C, just return it like this, and you are good to go. And this is the best practice. Okay, so we are saying that def multiply A comma B, then this. Okay, then we return A. So I need to remove the equals. Yeah, return A star B. Okay, now when I multiply, I call my function, I'll get my result. So this, you see, I'm getting 6. I can put anything here. I can say 10, comma 45, and I'll get what? 55, right? When I run 450, sorry, 450. So when I run, we are multiplying. I thought we are adding. So we are multiplying, so we get what? 450. You see? So this is how we return a function. It's basically for you to return the result of your what? When you call the function, you want to return the result. Okay, guys? It's very important. Always return your function. Keep that in mind. Always, when you are done doing all your arguments, writing all your body functions, your programming logics, the loops, the if statements, and everything here, and then you want to call the function, please always return before you call. We always return before we call. That's why you are seeing I'm returning. So I just return this here. Okay, and remember we can return multiple parameters. So let's see how we can return multiple parameters. Okay, so we can return multiple parameters. Okay, so it's just simple. Let's say the same thing, that multiply. So we are multiplying what? A comma B, A comma B. Okay, now with this A comma B, we are saying that we just want to return A B. Okay, now when we return AB, now we want to also have another parameter. Okay, so we can say AB comma A. It means that this simply means that when I run the code, I'm going to get when I call the function, I'm going to get any multiplication here, and then still I'll get the value that I used to multiply the B, which is A. Okay, so when I call this function multiply, okay, multiply, you see I'm returning. Now I'm just returning, so I don't do anything. So multiply what are we multiplying? So multiply 2 comma 3. So now if I run this, you see I'm getting the multiplication of AB, which is 2 times 3 is 6. This 6, right? And then now I'm saying that still return another parameter, which is A. And what was the A? 2. So I'm getting the 2 here. So all that I want you guys to understand is you can return multiple parameters. I can still continue and say B. Okay? And then when I run, I will get 6, 2, 3. You get a logic. So you can return multiple parameters in Python functions. All right? Okay. I am done, and this is Darko Labs. This is an AI Bootcamp. Please don't forget to subscribe. Follow us on TikTok, on YouTube. On YouTube, we are there. We are Darko Labs. Okay? We are Darko Labs. Currently, we have 95 subscribers. Kindly go to my YouTube, follow me. All these training session videos are posted on YouTube. You could see that. And then you are not lost. If you just join us, you can still join us by following us. We also have a structured community we are building for anyone who is interested in AI. So it's all about AI. That is why we first want to master Python. And you could see on the Discord, everything is well structured. On the Discord, we structured everything. All the help, all the information you need is there. And upon all this, if you think you still need me one-on-one, that is where you will pay. For this one is free. I'm doing this purely free, and this is the very good education I'm doing for you guys. But if you need me one-on-one, then you have to book me on TopMate, which I have the link on my YouTube. Okay. All right. So now I'm done, and then you guys can follow me. And then if you have any question, please kindly request and come up, and I'll be glad to respond to you. Thank you.